Thick nigga, you doing it at LA County.
Wait, you started it already, West?
Yo, turn that Bluetooth off.
Oh my god,
What's happening?
All right, so
Oh damn. Hold up.
One Piece chapter 861.
Want me to, are we live? Want me to do the
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
What's going on, everybody? We have Mr. Tisdale, we have Shakir, we have Brother Ning, and we have Edo there and myself, Honor No Days Off. We're here to review chapter 861 of One Piece, the Consummate Actor. A brief recap of the chapter is we have Capone and his crew hanging outside trying to prepare for everything. We noticed that the stairs is melting towards the actual building, so that's a little cause for concern. In this brief dialogue with Capone and Vito, we get introduced to the other children of Big Mom. We had the eldest daughter, Compate, I believe her name is. Obviously, we met Pero Sparrow, Dogtooth, Smoothie, and the third son, Yafuku, and the fourth son, Oven.
Yo, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Come on, Ebo. Can you like move?
Yeah.
This motherfucker went into my room and started blasting music.
So then we get introduced. We finally get to see Mother Caramel's picture, and that entire thing is just very, very spooky. And in the midst of it, someone asks about her, and we get to see a little glimpse of Big Mom's Conquerors hockey. Talking about don't trespass on other people's memories. We also learned, sorry about that. We also learned that she's planning on opening the Tamate Baku box after everything is over with. I'm going through the character. Then we get some more Capone preparing. We have actually Gastino. He's outside with the mirror, and they're just making sure you be ready with the mirror at the end of the day. Capone cracks the homie's face on the door that's kind of listening in on their conversation. Then he checks in on the Straw Hats, and unfortunately, they're all asleep. But Jinbei's like, just let them rest. They've been through a lot. I'm just going to wake them up in the next 10 minutes, and then they'll be all ready. Capone's a little worried about that. And then we get, Sanji and Pudding, and they're kind of interacting with each other. It's a good interaction. I like how Oda did it regarding, like, they're both, like, kind of putting on this little facade in front of each other, but you also get to see how they're really acting regarding their mind. Sanji's acting like a total complete pervert, and she's just acting sadistic as we've seen in the past. We get this, this good cover, I guess you say double spread of everyone when everyone's there, and the main event's about to start. And then Sanji and Pudding walks in, and things are about to start. And that's the end of the chapter. And next week, the chapter is going to be on break.
All right, we got that bit of information too that when she's gonna open the Tamate Bako box or whatever treasure she got, the one with the bomb in it from Fishman Island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She said she's gonna open it during the main banquet, so that's probably gonna be something else to look out for. Edo, so what do you think about chapter overall?
It was an okay chapter. Honestly, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. My issue is I just feel like I thought we would already have started the plan. It just feels like we're just dragging our feet in mud again, and I just don't know why we're still dragging our feet in mud. It's just the pacing is real. I mean, even for One Piece's standards of pacing, I think it's just really, really going slow. I mean, I've made a joke with Andre like I think it was like the other night. Like, it's been like 6 weeks since he said the wedding's about to start, man. And I'm like, dang, we're still quote unquote starting the wedding, and there's still like 30 minutes left. And then we go on hiatus. I mean, I just feel like, especially Oda going on hiatus, I feel like he just left us off on like if he's going on hiatus, I just felt like he should have left off on a higher note. Because now we have to wait 2 weeks. We've already dragged our feet in mud.
I agree. Shakir?
Huh? Oh, yes. Question for everybody. Can you name the three new pieces of information that we got?
Uh,
I'll tell you. The Straw Hats sleep. Okay,
yeah.
that's information we needed to know. She's gonna open the Tomate Baco, but wait, we already knew that.
We know exactly.
We know our kids, and we know the stairs are melting, and that's the chapter.
It's just it's. I just wonder why.
Do you think maybe that
Why is
this
he
chapter
strong?
didn't do it, like, it's kind of just like a transition chapter with like no cliffhanger or anything because he's going on hiatus next week? Like,
See, but I thought he would do the opposite.
and make you
You know what I
more
mean?
interested in seeing what's gonna happen next.
Yeah. I thought he was. I mean, he's not
Is it?
obligated to do anything.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that I just thought he would leave off on a higher note, especially if he's at least start the plan
yeah,
before you go on this week hiatus. Now we have to wait 2 weeks to see what happens next, and we're just sitting here like, oh, that was just so flat.
yeah. There's nothing that really is leaving you on the edge of your seat or like to anticipate. It's kind of like a middling, just casual transition chapter. Like, all we know is they're about to start the plan, which we know for like the last 3 chapters. So even the past couple weeks, like, they introduced characters like that we hadn't seen and stuff. We could have learned a little bit more about Dogtooth. So it's weird that he didn't at least give us that kind of information.
And if he wants to stall, and not start the wedding, you know, for just to keep adding to his volumes and making money, good on you, make as much money as you possibly can. But at least add in this chapter something that we didn't already know, some characterization for Dogtooth, because obviously he's going to be a big antagonist towards the end of this arc. Something, anything.
Yeah.
But we didn't get it.
That's the thing. He wasted so many panels reiterating things that one could either very heavily be implied, like people dropping off presents, and two, things we already know. Like, we all knew she was already going to open up the Tomate Baco box. So what was the point of reiterating it or going over it for so long?
I don't know. It seems like a waste of time to draw these things over and over.
And then we had.
It's not like an anime where you can clips that you already animated. Like, he has to physically draw all these scenes and then kind of like roll these scenes.
And then we had Caesar. Caesar and Capone go over a part of the plan again.
And we already know.
It seemed like he was doing that just for the door to hear it, the homie. But then the homie's killed, so then it's definitely just a waste of time.
I think that was supposed to be a scene where it's like they're so vicious they killed that door. Like, that was the closest.
It sounds like we're passionate. Well, what did they might like? Anything for this chapter?
What did you think of the chapter?
All right.
Anybody?
This is the best chapter for
Before, did anybody like? Is there any positives?
Yeah, I do have some positives. I do have some positives about the chapter. Overall thoughts, when I first read the chapter, I was like, okay, this is a good chapter. It's cool. Then I read it, and like the more I read it, the worse it got. And it was just like, yo, this is just ridiculous. Absolutely. Like, the certain shit was just rubbing me the wrong way. But one, I think the first thing is obviously the steps being melted. I think this shows Big Mom's plan was to, one, trap everyone in that room or in that area, and then I think she was going to kill. I think she was going to kill a certain amount of people, and then probably this is why Bobbin has that ability to sleep, put people to sleep, put everyone to sleep, and then have Pudding kind of jumble their memories up so that something can look a little different. Because putting him said like putting said like maybe like 8 chapters ago that it's going to be troublesome that I have to alter all these memories during the wedding. So I think Big Mom's plan is to kill certain members and have people's memories altered. The Mother Caramel stuff I thought was probably the most interesting out of everything because the way she talked about Mother Caramel was very, very, very odd. Because like she comes in, it's Mother Caramel, and Big Mom's like, indeed, our mother, and it's like to me, at the point, I honestly felt like that's probably Big Mom before she got to that status. I think that Mother Caramel is Big Mom, and then she inserted her soul into that body. That's why she can't control her hockey completely. And then we got a glimpse of her hockey just for someone mentioning like she knocked Bull completely out. I thought that was all good, but then you get into the Straw Hat portion.
Are we still on the recap? Or are we like really?
We're discussing the chapter now.
We're discussing.
I'll be right back.
So we switch to them, and they're all asleep, and I'm just like, why would they be asleep at such a certain point, especially Chopper and Nami, given the fact that how worrisome they are as characters due to past situations? And I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense regarding these characters. Even Brule is asleep. It's just so weird at this point. And then we switch to Sanji, and this dude. I can't even call it simping. It's just like straight buffoonery. What was happening? Like this dude was still getting wooed by her parents, despite the fact she plans to shoot him between the eyes, kill his family, then kill the Straw Hats, and he was still like googly eyed with this chick. And I'm just like, yo,
man, she's cute.
This is why Zoro's the first mate.
I was like, yo, this is just.
She's cute though.
This is disgusting.
Their wedding dress.
This was so disgusting. I was like,
I don't. The thing is, if this is a gag, it's like it's kind of funny, but it's stupid. It's one of those stupid gags. When he started getting nosy, I was like, please God, no, like don't Fishman Island him like the next 3 pages, like no. But if this is foreshadowing some kind of change in the dynamic between the both of them, then it is important to show it now. If it's just a gag, then it's kind of just this whole chapter is mostly filler. But I mean, the way he was acting, when he was like, maybe there's still some way, like she's not lying to me, and then the way she was getting annoyed at Sanji, like, are they gonna have some kind of reveal of their plan? Are they gonna like talk about how they actually feel to each other at some point? Is that foreshadowing this? Because then it would be important to like show that they're about to have like a change of hearts and stuff, like they like come together in some way.
But it'll just be weird because they didn't get to develop a relationship.
it's only been like 2 days.
No, I know, but the fact that they're showing doubts about what they're gonna do, like turning against each other, kind of like they're thinking about it.
No, Pudding wasn't showing any doubt. She was just straight up calling him a pervert.
Yeah, she was getting annoyed, but the fact that we're seeing her contemplating the way Sanji's acting, like it could be that thing where like, like she's being like tsundere about it. Like she's like, oh my God, he's so annoying, and then eventually like she warms up to him. And the fact that Sanji's already like, she's just so beautiful, Sanji's automatically still willing to warm up to her. I don't know. I was like, is this a sign that like Sanji's still gonna try to reason with her in some way?
Yeah.
If he does, it's stupid, but it might be a little it might be.
But I want to touch on Andre's theory about Big Mom being caramel. I think that's interesting. But wait, so you think that Big Mom's body, that was somebody else at some point?
Yeah.
And then Big Mom transferred her soul from caramel to that body, and that's why her high. That's why she doesn't have full control.
Wait. That old woman, that Mother Caramel, doesn't she look like the old lady from Amazon Lily?
A little. Someone PM me that picture again so I can look at it.
Ibrahim talking?
Yeah.
You got
Evo,
the.
thoughts on the chapter?
We got to get your thoughts.
My thoughts on the chapter? My thoughts on the chapter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, Andre just sent a photo. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't look like her.
She looks kind of like the Okamas.
Yeah, I was gonna say she looks like the Okamas on that island. But as for my thoughts on the chapter, it it's so ironic how I was just talking the other day about Kubo with wasted weeks, and
Yeah.
2 days later,
That's the person I thought about.
2 days later, Oda wastes my time and goes on hiatus. That's not to say that I didn't enjoy what was in front of me, because it would be very difficult for me to just flat out not enjoy anything in a One Piece chapter. But at the same time, it's like,
I don't know. This is pushing the limits.
I mean, look, it was.
It wasn't bad.
What did you enjoy?
Yeah.
Huh?
What did you enjoy?
Now I'd have to look at it again.
Oh, boy.
But
No, Andre said a bunch of things he liked about it. But,
yeah, I had to look at it again. Again, I haven't read this chapter in like 12 hours. But what I will say is, it just felt like you're starting the whole thing up, but it either just kind of the beginning of it fell a little bit flat, or it just felt like a One Piece anime episode version of the beginning.
Good point. That's exactly
If this is a chapter version, like you get some like.
can you imagine how they're gonna stretch this out?
Yeah,
in the anime.
This felt like an anime where you branch out like into like a random like gag part in like the middle of a tea party, and like, oh, this is the person of this, and like they're just stretching it. So it felt like I was like reading an episode. But yeah, I don't know, man. It just felt like a wasted week. But with that said, I didn't like mind the Sanji stuff, nor did I have any problem with the Straw sleeping. Like, niggas got to sleep at some point, so you might as well sleep before the big battle. So wake and scrap is not a good strategy, though. I can say from experience. So waking up and going into a fight, I don't know about that. No, it's not good.
I said you rejuvenated?
Now, right when you're getting up, man, you're groggy. You want to ease into your situation. You don't want to throw hands immediately. But the chapter was it was just off, man. It was an off chapter. I think that's the best word to describe it. I guess.
Yeah, and has there ever been a week where One Piece is so quiet within all the groups? And Facebook.
Yeah,
and
nobody
everything?
even mentioned the.
It's because like it just doesn't leave that much of an impression.
It's like somebody died.
Yeah, bro. It's been so quiet.
It's almost like people just read it and they're just like, all right, there's not really much to like discuss. This
is a chapter review I wish Kevin was in the most, because I want to see damage control. I want to see I want to hear the
reason why he didn't come, yo.
Yeah, bro. He doesn't.
I want to hear him.
I had no passion to discuss this chapter.
I want to hear him spin this into a 10 out of 10 chapter. Like, I want to see it.
It's like
the verbal gymnastics.
No.
I wish. I think this chapter is gonna dictate me finally creating a new rating, man. I created a new rating specifically for this chapter.
Yeah.
This wasn't a 4 or a 5 or a 6. This was a nothing out of 10. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Nothing out of 10 was specifically reserved for the final 150 chapters of Bleach, but I think Kubo turned that golden egg over this week.
No,
I might have to hand this to Oda, who fired blanks before going on his vacation.
How high of a rating can these chapters get? Because we've had a couple of.
In this chapter?
I mean, this arc.
Check out the pictures.
Yeah.
Probably a 9, because, like I said,
You think so?
This arc is a 9.
No, he's saying what's he saying? Like, what's the potential highest rating this arc could get? And I'm saying, even if you have a bunch of like meh chapters, a bunch of arcs that are really good, if you really go back and look at it, have a lot of like weak specific like singular chapters. I can pinpoint Alabasta, which is a very good arc. And
you guys tell me they don't look the same. She did leave Amazon for an undisclosed amount of time, cured her love sickness, and then came back.
There is a resemblance.
There is.
Maybe.
Yo, she does look. Hold up, nah, she does look like her. I mean, her nose is bigger, but like those are little details.
Yeah.
Cheeks are the same. Her fucking forehead. Her hair.
Yeah. I mean, who's that lady on Amazon movie like that?
And you know what? Here's what I'll give Oda, man. At least, I'm looking at it again, yo. I love the cover page with Nekomamushi and the cats.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this again. I'm trying to like refresh myself. I don't know why. It just like made me feel like some type of way when that talking face on the door got like her face sliced.
Oh,
Looking through here, yeah, like she's gonna open that Tamade Bako and stuff. It just I don't know, man. It just fell off. It felt like Oda just did a crossover at half court, made his 3-point line, pulled up like he was Curry, and like single
man.
pointer, not knowing that the ball didn't actually make it. So,
Yeah.
but I do like Capone's work in this chapter upon relooking at this. It's just one of those things where like it's not terrible, it's not good. It's just it doesn't leave much of an impression, and it felt like kind of a nothing week.
What did Capone do?
By the way,
door?
Brooke
His
by the way,
demeanor
Brooke
and his
isn't
planning
there
and
sleeping
stuff.
with them.
His
He's not
demeanor,
there?
his planning.
He's not
Brooke
there.
isn't there sleeping there, sleeping with
Yo,
them.
yo. I'm looking at this again. Yeah, yo, this is an anime episode version of a chapter. Like some like I don't
All
know.
these scenes of the crowd just doing things we've seen
Yeah.
done over and over again. Smoothies making smoothies out of people. Like, you know, dog super sipping tea.
It's like Toei Animation using stock characteristics and patterns.
A shot of the cute girl for no reason. Like,
But I think this
hello,
opens up.
Mom.
I think this opens up a couple of conversations that we can squeeze out of this chapter.
You're lagging really bad.
Am I?
Not for me.
I can hear him. Yeah, I can.
Well, I think this opens up a couple conversations that we can squeeze out of this chapter. First of all,
Was that
how do you
an
guys feel?
intentional pun?
I don't know. How do you guys feel about Oda's timing when it comes to comedy?
I don't mind it at all, to be honest. There's only a few times where his comedy is really off, and I'm like, it's a problem. But usually, it's just like
Because I within at least almost every arc, I hear some people complain about one instance where Oda's comedic timing is off.
Well,
And I just
usually the
wanted
type
to
of
know you
people that
guys'
complain about that are people who read One Piece and enjoy it, but don't particularly ever really enjoy the comedy. So it's always going to be a constant problem for them because the comedy is always going to be a constant series.
But
So
do you think it was the right? Do you think it was the right time for? I mean, if you want to call the Sanji thing a gag, do you think it was the right time to have it?
Yo,
That
Andre,
gag?
word, Andre.
Listen, we're doing a review.
Yeah.
But yo, word, bro. Like,
Yeah. Professionalism.
To answer Dos's question, I remember in this arc there was a discussion in the group about comedy placement. I can't remember.
no, some people didn't like the whole Big Mom sleep thing when they got back, Brooke.
Which was hilarious, by the way.
I didn't mind it.
I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that.
People.
That's-
No, yeah, it was that. It was that.
Like I said with Andre.
Shakir had a
There's a
problem with her.
Yeah, there's a difference between that type of comedy. I had no problem with how Sanji was acting. This is a defined personality trait he's always had. But with Big Mom, it was comedy that came at the cost of her threat level or her intimidation factor or her abilities itself. You know?
I agree with that, but that wasn't the issue I had with that moment. To me, it was just like you had like Nami's called the cat burglar. She's known for espionage and stealing things. And the first people you sent in are like Chopper, Pedro, fucking Carrot, instead of just sending the most logical person to go and steal something, which is Nami. So like it's like he used all that gag instead of just doing the logical thing, which just was like this doesn't make it goes against logic, in all honesty. And at the end of the day, it was Nami that got Brooke, even though Jinbei came in and picked him up to get away. It was Nami that actually was able to actually steal Brooke from Big Mom. So regarding that, I think there is instances regarding like comedy placement. I think it all depends on what type of arc we're in and the situation. But like any type of comedy at this point, I don't think it should show up personally.
So I think sometimes Oda, Oda, he loves his comedy, and most of the times it hits for me at least. But I think sometimes he sacrifices a sense of danger.
You have an echo. I think for me, it's like hit or miss. It's very, very hit or miss. Like there are moments that are funny, and there are moments that are. It's not the placement of the joke; it's just that the joke is not as funny to me as it could be. But
okay.
I think the bigger problem is that or the only issue I have is that sometimes Oda uses comedy like running gags instead of characterization or where he puts his characterization. Sometimes it's like, oh, Frankie wears weird outfits. Frankie wears weird outfits. Like that's all we see it from after the time skip. Like instead of developing more of his character so that it feels more like a fleshed out character than a gag character.
I could argue that, but I don't feel like it.
Go ahead.
No, I don't. I have no passion to get.
What? It's Oda, man. You should be passionate. One Piece.
Yeah. What's the point?
We're
gonna argue.
We're doing a review.
30 minutes, and it's gonna go nowhere.
No, we're doing a review.
Yeah,
what seems to be the issue?
Wait, Young, did you enjoy this chapter?
The enforcers here.
Of course, I enjoyed this goddamn chapter. Is that even a question?
What made it a 10 out of 10, Young?
Did I say it was a 10 out of 10? Shakira?
Do you think it's a 10 out of 10, Young?
That's a personal opinion of mine.
All right, then, but answer the question. I'm not.
Yeah, I think it is a 10 out of 10.
But why?
Okay. Let me answer your question with a question.
Okay.
Who is the author of this manga?
Don't get suckers.
Who is the author of this manga?
Eiichiro Oda.
Eiichiro Oda, right?
Yes.
You answered your own question.
What makes this a 10 out of 10?
Eiichiro Oda made it.
All right, let me rephrase that.
Ever seen his one shot?
Let me rephrase that.
10 out of 10 one shot.
Let me rephrase that. Was last week's chapter a 10 out of 10?
What chapter are we on in One Piece?
161.
860. We got 860 10 out of 10 chapters.
So last week was a 10 out of 10.
I believe so. There's just different levels of 10 out of 10 that Oda produces.
So can you explain to me those levels?
Yeah, see, this is a very subjective argument. I don't think I can explain. If something's a 10 out of 10 to me, it may not be a 10 out of 10 to everybody else, so it's I don't know if you can understand the psychological.
But explain why do you think it's a 10 out of 10?
I don't know if
Young, you're lagging.
Yeah, you're breaking up a lot.
No?
Your brother will explain for you.
No, I ain't.
Listen, Young, you want to know what your brother said?
Don't worry about it, yo. See, you can't tell me you don't know what you're doing. Like you.
Listen. I mean, I had no problem. I had no problem explaining why I thought this chapter was whack.
You're lagging so bad, man. You gotta refresh. But I mean,
what are we talking about?
The comedy? What do you think about the comedy?
Who, me?
Shakir, because he didn't say anything.
Didn't Shakir say he didn't have any problem with the Sanji bit this week?
I have a problem. I mean, it's not particularly funny to me, but it's all right.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. It was so stupid.
I'm sure you could relate, Wesley.
Oh boy. It's so stupid. Like, because it was the worst possible time for him to think like this, and Matt made it funny to me. He was like, what are you doing? It's like, the tone was supposed to be so serious, and he was like, hey, man, she is cute. She is cute.
Sanji's so crazy. Sanji is so caught up.
This dude is such a jackass, man. It's His face is like.
Yo,
She's literally gonna murder everybody.
what you think about Mother Caramel and her role?
Ooh, I'm to see what Oda got planned because honestly, I don't know. We don't know much about it, but all we know is that it means a lot to Big Mom.
Young,
And what?
Young, do you think she looks like the elder from Amazon Lily?
I think her name's like
That's
Glory Rose.
what I. That's honestly what I like. That's the first thing that came to mind, but I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna try to connect that. It'd be funny if Big Mom is from Amazon Lily or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but she's funny. Well,
It's funny because
Well,
but then they go over the backstory about how. Well, I don't know. I guess
Wait,
Big Mom found out.
wait, backstory of like the Mother Caramel thing.
No, backstory of Big Mom and with the Giants.
I don't wait. What was the deal with that again? I don't think they really like went in
They
depth with-
vaguely told us about
Yeah.
it. They just told us that
She wants to have
Lola
a
turned
like
Lola
he
turned
was.
down the wedding.
They didn't tell us much about that whole Giants thing. And I think he has that plan for something else. Who knows? It might have something to do with. I don't know. But regarding Mother Caramel, I'm interested. We don't know much about it yet, and I see us learning about it soon.
You think
So,
you think she's gonna be a reoccurring character, or do you think?
who knows if she's even alive?
Or I mean, do you think she's gonna be a character we've seen in the past? Like she could have been someone. She could be someone older that we've seen when they were younger, or something like that. Or do you think it's gonna be a completely new character?
I hope it's a completely new character.
Yeah, I hope it's a completely new character. I think it will be, but after seeing that picture Shakir posted, it's looking a lot like her.
It
No,
is. It does.
It's just so weird how Big Mom like said it to me. It's just like one. She's
Said what?
like because like the picture sat down one Caramel. She's like in this nun type of outfit. So it's like it's Mother Caramel, like Mother Teresa, and then the next page, Big Mom's like, indeed, our mother. And
Right?
it's just,
Yeah.
like it's just so weird how she like phrased that.
Yo, I'm telling you, is Big Mom from Amazon Lily?
And then it's like,
Good night.
and then like her response to someone asking about is her saying, "Do not presume to trespass on my memories."
Yo, she hit him with the hockey.
Like it's just like the dialogue was just so strange regarding it.
Big Mom's strange in general, so
Yeah, older purposes.
But in that case, you'd have to check out another translation just to make sure.
yeah. Well, I'll wait for the viz to see.
But even the panels are weird. The panels are weird still.
Our mother.
I still think that's Big Mom in general.
She dressed like a nun, right?
Yeah, like it looks like she's. I think Caramel was Big Mom.
In the chapter before that, you guys probably talked about this, but when that door was listening to everything, I'm like, yo, is this how they're gonna get like? Yeah, but I'm glad that guy was clutch and he just cut off its face.
Yeah, I like that part.
I still okay. What didn't you like?
No, I'm saying I like that part. Like we're like.
What do you think of this chapter? I want to know what you think of this chapter.
He called it a nothing out of 10.
Please tell me you're joking.
It wasn't bad.
I quoted, One Piece was the wasted week this week.
Oh my.
It was bad Bleach.
No, can I speak to my own brother? Can I speak to my flesh and
You're
blood?
disgusting.
Can I? Yo, you
What's so filler about this chapter?
He said it like in an anime episode of One
Am I
Piece.
reading the anime?
Wait, what is filler about this? Like, explain to me. No, I really want to know what's going on. Like, what's filler about this?
Yo, y'all want it? Y'all are trying to get him riled up. You know his blood.
No, they just told me what you didn't want to tell me. Like, what's...
I'm trying to. I didn't get to open my mouth and tell you my thoughts.
All right, I'm waiting.
You ready?
Actually, I don't want to know your thoughts. Why is this nothing? Why is this filler?
You guys live together and don't talk about the One Piece chapter.
People start ducking people when it's a nothing chapter.
Exactly, bro. You feed him.
He starts avoiding every.
You feed him your jizzy breadsticks, but you won't fucking feed him.
This is why Edo cuts off your artwork.
So you peeped it too, right? You peeped it
Yeah, he did it on purpose.
Yeah, I don't blame him. You infidel. I'm still waiting for your response.
Andre wants
Why
to
was
act
this
like, act like I'm acting up when I point it out. Yeah.
Wait, why is this a nothing chapter? I'm still waiting.
No, okay, so look, this chapter was neither bad nor was it particularly good. It felt
Okay,
like
answer my question. Oh my god.
answer. Are you gonna let me talk?
Okay.
Well, like I said, it wasn't particularly good, but it wasn't like bad either. It was one of those chapters that doesn't leave much of an impression on you when you walk out of it, and that's not common in a One Piece chapter. That's something reminiscent of a Bleach chapter.
All right.
I said it was a nothing chapter because it's like. I said
it wasn't a nothing chapter. Do you know what this chapter did? It progressed the story, and you know what majority of One Piece chapters do?
Can I?
What do majority of One Piece chapters do? What are their sole purposes? Majority of the time.
You know what? If I can't finish responses, then don't ask me.
All right, I got all I need. Majority of the time, One Piece chapters, their main focus. A lot of One Piece chapters are like this. They're meant to progress the story based off stuff that we already know. We didn't learn a lot of things in this chapter. There's not a lot of new information, new characters or anything. This is, if you look back at One Piece, you reread One Piece. I haven't. You should know this. There's a lot of quote unquote nothing chapters.
I said if you would have let me finish, I said this in the review. I said Alabasta had nothing chapters. Most of the arcs that we consider to be great had nothing chapters. That's why I said it doesn't really matter in the long run when you look back at the arc. It's just, it is what it is. But I'm just saying.
I think you're labeling this completely wrong. If you think this is a nothing chapter, then you're not reading the chapter correctly.
I was in the middle of explaining why it's a nothing chapter, but you interrupted me.
Okay, continue.
Nah, you didn't interrupt me again.
All right, because you have nothing to retort.
How did it progress the story? That's my question.
Oh.
No, I just want to how did it progress the story?
It progressed. It's kind of straightforward what it did. Well, I wish I was there for the recap. Hold up. Continue the conversation. I'm gonna go find this chapter. I'm gonna look at it myself.
I mean,
because
I think Young just made an interesting point. He's claimed that based on Ebo standards, there's a lot of nothing chapters in One Piece.
Exactly. That's why I don't think they're nothing chapters.
And we agree with Eva. Do you guys think there are a lot of nothing chapters in all those arcs?
No. I said the way Oda structures his arcs and how he writes, his longer arcs tend to always have a bunch of nothing chapters. But
whoa,
is this a longer arc?
yeah. This would be a
define longer.
Like 30 plus.
I don't think this is going to be a longer arc. But
this is not a longer arc.
I said my definition of longer was just 30 chapters or more. We're already past 30 chapters. I don't know what's so funny.
Why are you laughing?
I want to know what's so damn funny.
I swear, if it didn't fit for your argument, you would not have said 30 plus. That's a fact.
Last week we get finally the party begins. Whose scenario will win out? Like that's the last caption of last week's chapter.
And the party began, right?
This chapter we get it's like nothing.
No, the party began, and you know what's beginning nothing. At the end of this? The wedding.
Andre, doesn't it feel like that's been the last caption for the?
It's like every week it's just.
Wesley, what's with your head? Now Wesley quoted Young and said One Piece has a lot of nothing chapters in the exclamation mark.
Whoa, Wesley. Wesley. I don't. No, Wesley, take that down. No. Edit your post.
It's a direct.
Like we get 3 hours till the minute. 3 hours and 20 minutes till the.
You just cut off everything. I said according to you.
Right.
I said according to you, One Piece.
Listen, from chapter 558, it's 3 hours and 20 minutes until the party starts. 59, the last caption. Very soon the party begins, the tea party from hell. And it's just like, we just keep building up, and it's just like, all right, this party's here, but there's still nothing There's nothing.
The party
there.
began in this chapter, and we got majority of the party.
Finally, the party begins in last week's chapter.
Yeah, they were entering the doors, and the party was beginning. In this chapter, we got a lot of progression. We got their conversation about with them giving her their treasure chest. We got the conversation about.
What does that have to do with anything? The only treasure chest that's important. Wait. The only treasure chest that's important is the Tamaki Bako box.
I don't mean to sound like evil, but if you let me finish, I was gonna get to that.
Okay, I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yeah, they got progression on that, and then literally all what's starting at the end of the chapter. If anything, this is fast moving. In terms of order, no, you can laugh all you want, but we got majority of the party in this chapter. All that's left is the wedding, because that's the main event. That's the main event of the party. I don't know what's so funny.
The majority of this chapter is them reiterating the plan again.
No, I'm saying we got majority of the party in this chapter. I'm not
what
saying
are you talking about? Wait, hold on.
I think he's saying they have to show them actually partying as the characters, the party starting.
I'm sorry you want to wait. I'm sorry you want to waste panels on them drinking chocolate and stuff.
We've already done that with the Vince Smoke, so there's no reason to show that. Do that.
Exactly. We got majority of the party. The party is progressing fast. I don't know, like. The main point of this. I do
think he has to show the party, but I feel like while he's showing the party, there's not a lot of substance as to what's happening. I think that's the issue people are having. Like, we're seeing the characters just party, but like, is it anything relevant?
What do you want to see? Like,
I mean,
they say now then, and page 15, I'm on the manga stream. Now then, friends and guests. Our main event. Their whole plan is I'm talking about Beige and the Strides. Their whole plan is centered around the wedding. Why would Oda if he wanted to make a point about the party, he's already done it in showing the people at the party, showing Big Mom's connections, and we got the stuff about the Tamaki Bako. That's the only important stuff that he felt he needed to put in this party. Besides the main event, the wedding, which is getting its own spotlight in the next few chapters, which we're going to see. I don't see what's. I don't know why you're laughing about the party or anything.
I'll let Evil go because I'll retort to that. I'll let.
Go ahead, Andre.
So, I think I'm just going to piggyback with Wesley. I think he hit on that. There's no substance, right? So only substance in this chapter is a little bit of the caramel. One, we got to see her face, and two, the box actually showing up. That right. But given the fact that we just got introduced to the bosses of the underground world, what Oda could have done with this chapter is give them a little bit more characterization, and also characters like Katakuri, and some of the Smoothie a little bit, and maybe some of the other children that were introduced for the first time in this chapter. It's like, yeah, he just showed them there, but it's like no characterization on any of these characters that he just introduced last week. So regarding the substance thing, I think to add substance to this chapter, he could have went that route.
Like kind of giving you a better feel of who these kids
I can agree with that. There's always ways to improve the chapter.
Well,
I can agree with that.
I just that's just pretty much what I thought.
Yeah, so we mostly saw Beige in this chapter, who we already had like enough. Like we've seen the last few chapters. And
there's never a bad time for characterization.
I wholeheartedly agree with that statement.
All right, so what's it called? So what are our chapter ratings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chapter Andre MVP best panel. What do you want to see 2 weeks from now?
The best panel.
I think we should all.
Oh my gosh.
I just like that whole.
That's my spring break.
I just like that whole stuff with like Caramel, like the panel wise, like that picture show, and then Big Mom's reaction to it, and then the cocky. I'll just say that whole section is probably like my favorite part as far as art wise. MVP. I'll give it to Capone. You know, he's actually trying to make sure like this plan is A1.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's trying to just cross his T's and dot his I's. Next week, or 2 weeks from now. I don't know. I want to see Luffy's entrance at this point. Obviously, we're going to see the scene of him probably waking up and getting in position, and then Luffy makes his grand entrance.
Do not. I would not be surprised if we don't get that next chapter.
But I'm just It's probably next week. Probably I don't want to say padding, but it'll probably be one of those another padding chapters of them still setting up, getting in position.
More padding?
Yeah.
Depends
Bro,
what
we've
you
been
consider.
padding. We've been
Probably
padding.
like a more
We've
substantive
been padding
padding
for
chapter.
2 months, bro.
I think they're starting.
Depends what you consider padding.
Yeah, I think the plan is already started next week.
Chapter rating.
Yeah.
Boy.
Oh boy. Ugh.
But if the
Young
plan doesn't
Pokemon.
start next week, I'm gonna go on a rant.
No.
Yeah.
This is. Whew. I'm just gonna say this is probably the worst chapter of the arc.
Oh.
Whoa, what?
I'd have
Wait,
to
what?
look at it.
Worse than the woods chapters?
What?
The
really didn't like
Woods
those.
was lit though, so it's
No, I know Andre didn't like those chapters.
Oh.
He felt like they-
Listen. But the thing is, I don't think it's like a
Worst
bad one.
chapter
I think the better wording would be like it's weakest, but it's like I don't think it's egregiously
Worst.
like bad. Like it's not
my
like
word I'm using.
What's
He
the-
said worse, but I
it's
don't.
not like offensively bad.
I don't know.
It's just
I don't know about all that.
it's a weaker
Well,
chapter.
I explain why I thought that like with the straw hat and
All right,
stuff.
so go ahead, go with
See,
your
I
rating.
wasn't here for that,
It's
so I don't
it's
know.
only not offensive because nothing happened. Like for it to be a
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
chapter,
So it's not like
I'm
bad.
saying,
It's
but
just
for
like
it to be a bad chapter, something would have had to happen to make you.
that's what I'm saying. So it's like
That's almost worse though. Than nothing happened to incite a reaction.
I mean,
Like you don't know. You don't.
if
feel
there's
anything.
another chapter where less happens and it's worse, then I guess that's a word.
all right.
But
So what's your rating?
Adosa, what
this is
Wait,
nothing
what's
happened.
the lineup? What's the lineup again?
MVP, your rating, best panel, and what do you want to see 2 weeks from now?
Eesh. Yeah.
What?
MVP. Jesus.
I don't like this, bro. Like,
Caramel, I guess. What's the next thing? Best panel.
Favorite panel.
yo, watch your tone, bro.
My favorite panel was Kirishima, the last panel. What do I want to see in a couple weeks?
I agree.
I want to see the panel I want to see the party actually and the plan actually start.
We're in the Boku no Hero
Jiminy
tours.
Christmas.
That's why this. I'm not liking this vibe.
No, the
Where's
more I look at
Kevin?
it,
Where's
I think the
Miguel?
plan. I think the plan will come to fruition next week.
Hey,
I think.
man, I didn't say anything
And
about
if the
no
plan-
My Hero Academia.
If the plan doesn't come, together
Yeah, it
next
needs to
week,
start.
I
It
will
needs to
rant.
start.
I'm announcing. I will rant
Unless
for the whole review. I'm
it
ranting.
needs to start, or we need to see.
I guess
If it
I'm not
doesn't
coming
start, we need to see like something big that doesn't have to.
It has to either start or we get like if it's a padding chapter, it has to be like a really substantive one that like provides
Yeah.
information into like one of these characters.
Or like Crocodile has to show up at the wedding. Something.
I don't know.
I'm saying something huge that doesn't have to do with the plan.
Crocodile? Wait. Do you
That's
think
just random.
I just
Hold on. My rating for the chapter is a 5 out of 10.
That's a good. I never thought about Crocodile coming.
It's my
I said that last week, man.
I think it's the second worst chapter
What's the worst?
in the arc. The worst is when Sanji told Luffy he's
Cry?
coming back to the crew.
Kill yourself.
Oh.
I don't know why you still complain about that. But whatever.
That's the worst.
Put on your big
This is
boy
the second
pants and
worst.
stop complaining, Edo. Like it's not that big.
I'm
Like,
not complaining. I'm just giving. I'm just
Take
giving
it on the chin,
Edo.
Wait, hold on. Wait, young. Just like you can have your opinion about liking it, I can have my opinion about not liking it, right?
Yeah, and I can have my opinion about your opinion about not liking it.
Okay. Yes. But I think it's the second worst chapter in the arc. I still think this is the worst arc in One Piece by far.
Whoa!
Hopefully we
Oh
can
my
get
God.
through this.
Yo, he's joking.
And
He's
this arc,
joking.
this arc has small moments of good stuff, but this is by far the worst arc.
Whoa!
Hey, man, did you
Whoa!
expect it? Did you expect it not to be bad when it's a Sanji arc?
No, I expected it to. I expected it to be,
Hold up. This man
expected-
Edo said this is the worst arc
yes,
in
this is
One
the worst.
Piece.
This is the worst arc. What's
Yeah.
well? We
time
can,
skip?
if we
Do
want- we can get that
I
discussion
have
later.
to? It's one thing to say
I
time.
can't. I don't think there's a no. I don't think there's a word. There's not. This is the worst arc by far.
Yo, I think Edo's
Yeah.
And
forgetting One
Wesley,
Piece arcs, bro.
I expected it to be good like every other One Piece arc.
Edo,
That's what I expected.
pause. Do you think that this arc is better than the arc with Usopp and
Foxy
Syrup?
arc.
Wait, no. You think that this is
Foxy arc
worse
was
than
lit.
the arc with Captain Kuro?
Yes. This
Yeah, that
Captain
arc
Kuro
was
arc is
good.
better than this arc.
with
One of the
Kaya
best arcs
and-
in East Blue. That's one of the best arcs in East
Yo,
Blue.
no, it's not. It's the weakest arc.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes, it
Nah,
is. That's
no, it's
actually
not.
the weakest arc in
Gatling?
that
No,
saga.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
What are you saying?
Listen,
I mean, no. I mean, this. I mean,
It's
hold
okay.
on.
It's okay. It's no.
listen, Usopp's
this
a
arc-
lying simp. Wesley,
This arc. At this point, this arc has
I'm just
misfired.
kidding,
I don't
Wesley.
want to get into a rant, but at this point, this arc has misfired on almost all cylinders.
They've been.
You have to let it finish before you can say that.
I know. I said that's what I said. At this point, it's misfired on all cylinders. German 66 flat, Big Mom flat. I mean, Sanji flat. I mean, there's no sense of danger. I don't know what's happening,
No,
but
sir.
hopefully, the payoff will be worth
This
it.
man said the worst arc in the series.
Hey man, he's entitled to his own opinion.
This is worse, Edo, than
Let Edo finishes. That's
I think
No, but that's it. Wesley. Yeah, just hopefully the
Might
play
be-
starts next week.
this might be tied for worst chapter of the arc with the
I don't
chapter
care about
where.
that. This man Edo said worse. I think I might have to think about like
I'm
politely
surprised you don't
blocking.
like the. I'm surprised you don't like the Syrup Village arc. That arc was good.
No, I don't dislike it. I don't dislike it.
One of the first emotional. That was better than the Buggy arc.
No, it wasn't.
Way better than the Buggy
No,
arc.
it wasn't. But
It is. It's better than
I
the.
read the series 3 times. Listen,
What does that mean?
That doesn't.
I read that arc. I read that arc like
I
5
have a
times.
degree. I have an art degree.
Okay, Dean. I
I
read
read Wesley. I read even.
I read that arc. I read that arc in particular.
Listen,
Like, I read
it doesn't matter how many times each of you read it. It's about how
Tongue
you
is
back up
lagging
your
really
points
bad.
when arguing it.
Yeah, and I mean, we can argue this later because I don't want the review to be.
Yeah,
too
and I'm
long.
not saying. I'm just saying like
But
how
yeah,
many times you read it doesn't matter.
I mean, honestly,
yeah.
you guys have
I was
to.
gonna.
Everything that Oda has tried to do has fallen flat.
that's
No,
subjective.
That's
I think
a personal
this-
opinion
this-
of yours.
This chapter is the weakest, tied with the chapter where Sanji did the "I want to take it," like "I want to live" thing.
That was a very good chapter.
That was bad.
No, that was a
That
very
was
good
bad.
chapter.
That was.
Oh, that one.
I want to take you.
Wait,
I can never become Hokage unless you know my shit. Like,
wait. Edo, why would I'm interested. Edo,
Huh?
well, yeah,
Huh?
I don't want you because I don't want you to rant or anything, but like shorten, like abbreviate your argument as to why that chapter was bad. Not this chapter, the Sanji.
Oh, the Sanji come back to the crew thing.
Yeah, just like abbreviate.
He's gone into this before.
Sure, yeah,
I don't-
we've had a long conversation. I don't know if you're in the call. It just feels like Sanji basically humiliated Luffy in public, and Luffy just accepts him
Oh
back
wait,
with open arms. And I just wanted.
never mind.
I
I
just
remember
wanted
this.
it to be deep. I just wanted it to be deep, go a layer deeper. And people act like Oda never goes. Oda does go deep, but whenever he doesn't, I call him out for it. Oda can go deeper than that. I expect him to go deeper than that. They have to. I mean, there has to be a line where like, okay, Sanji, you can't do that. Like Luffy's got to say something. They've got to have a conversation. They've got to have an interesting conversation about the dynamic within the crew, and they never do. Rarely
Wait.
do they ever.
What do you mean?
And that
What
pisses me off.
do you mean they have to have an interesting conversation about the dynamic in the
like Sanji doing that to him in public? Luffy should be talking to him, explaining to him, like, how could you do that? Why would you do that? You know that you can't do that to me in public like that. You can't do that to me in private. Like, it seems like anybody can do anything to Luffy, no matter what. And at the end of the day, Luffy will always accept the back.
Because, well,
I mean,
first and foremost, Sanji's intentions were to stop them from being killed.
No, but Shakir,
but intention, like you said, intention always matters, and his intentions were to stop his crewmates, his friends, from doing something stupid and being killed in a situation that he saw was completely hopeless.
But Shakir, that leads to a bigger issue of does that mean that anybody can do anything to Luffy at any time?
We had this discussion, and then Edo, I remember like a few weeks later in the chapter, you were like, "Oh, I'm glad that Sanji faced something from like Nami or whatever." Remember, you were so like, "What's the point of complaining about that other chapter?"
No. I'm talking about Luffy specifically. I'm glad that Nami is holding Sanji accountable, but Luffy doesn't.
Question about why was the chapter bad?
Luffy doesn't hold grudges though. Nigga, Luffy's not even. You can mention Akainu's
what do you mean public?
No, Shakir.
Wait. I want to
Akainu's name in front of Luffy, and Luffy's not gonna like get pissed off.
No, Shakir. No, I understand that Luffy doesn't hold grudges, but I'm saying to make it more interesting, wouldn't it be more interesting?
You wouldn't be consistent.
If that upsetted Luffy.
But if it's not a part of his character, then how?
No, but characters can always grow, and characters can always develop, and characters can always change without changing.
This is One Piece. They don't grow. They don't change.
Oh
that's not factual.
But some.
I don't know.
No. It's not always like that. And Luffy has grown, and Luffy has changed over the course of the series. But it just seems like he's stalled out.
This is not stalling out of any character of his. Luffy's like has an innate personality to be nice and not hold grudges like that. He has no reason, and like. It's not like you said, Sanji. When did he publicly humiliate him?
When he beat his ass.
He beat him up.
Yeah. Okay, but
Luffy. To be fair, when Luffy fought Usopp, he was bitter about it. Like he was.
Luffy accepted it at that
like
time.
did we not like the water? You guys act like Water 7 did not happen. Where they had a really interesting conversation and argument. In that arc,
it wasn't spurred on by Luffy though. Zoro was the one who brought it up. Luffy sat there.
But Luffy can tell the intentions of his crewmates, and he knew Usopp was serious, while Sanji had an ulterior motive.
That Luffy was aware of.
It has been shown that Luffy can tell what his crewmates are thinking. He knows how they actually feel. He knows when they're lying to him.
He didn't agree with him, though, right? He wanted him to.
He accepted it. He accepted that he had to let Sanji do that.
I get Sanji has ulterior motives, but it just seems if you're doing that, then it just seems what it comes off to me is that no matter what anybody does, there are no repercussions.
No, that was a necessary. Like Luffy obviously doesn't want to get his ass beat by Sanji, but that was necessary. You're talking about like when he met up with the carriage, and you're talking about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, first of all, I don't really necessarily believe that's publicly. Like, there wasn't that many people around.
But there's people around, you know what I mean?
I don't think Nami's gonna hold him accountable for it.
Regardlessly.
Well, she's the only one
I think it's a kind of a joke. I think she's kind of like gonna tease him as like a joke. I don't think she's seriously like mad. I think she's just being like a girl, like
she's not gonna beat him, like
she's not gonna dislike him because she knows what he's doing. She just like didn't like the way.
Everybody knows what Sanji's not just. He didn't beat his ass just to beat his ass. Like Sanji had to do that.
But there's always protocol though.
He's saying it's disrespectful.
Like if you're in the army, you don't slap the back of your sergeant's head. Oh, it's a joke.
Yeah, but at that time, Sanji had no. Listen, wait.
I'm saying no. I'm not. I'm saying there's protocol.
He's saying that they're still pirates.
All right, that's okay. They're pirates. They have ranks, but at that time, Sanji had to. Listen. At that time, Sanji had to show that he was no longer a pirate with the Straw Hats. He was around his brothers, and if he showed them that he was still loyal.
Forgetting plot details, like he had to act that way.
Listen, Evil, let me talk.
I'm not forgetting any plot details.
No, I'm not saying he's forgetting anything, but
answer this question. So I want to answer this question. Do you guys feel like anybody can do anything and still come back to the crew? Yes or no?
No, but there was a reason for why.
No. He understands. He understands what you're saying.
You don't get that impression.
He's saying
No, I do not, because
how do you not?
He's saying One Piece.
The only
there's been good reason for every time it's happened.
and some those are two different things.
Let me say. He's saying
Y'all
One
are
Piece.
talking.
Take off. He's saying One Piece handled the situation. He's saying One Piece handled the situation in a maybe with too much levity and then maybe a childish fairy tale-esque way.
I don't want to call it childish.
No,
But
it didn't handle the situation in a
you
mature
have to look
way.
at the bigger picture.
Like the
Yo, I'm a bouncer. Peace out, yo.
No, wait. Hold up, Edo. Name all the times that this so-called leaving the crew and then just coming back with nothing happened has happened.
No, it's happened twice.
But
What's the other time?
Sub situations are very different.
Robin left the crew.
Wait, who's that talking?
Let Takeo explain. Let Takeo explain.
All right.
No, I think you guys are.
Are you a One Piece fan, good sir?
You guys are completely misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Wait, Takeo, are you a One Piece tard?
Yeah.
Would you die for Oda's cause?
I don't know about that.
You're not a real One Piece. But
I'll let you speak.
No. What do you think?
I think you guys.
No. Let me speak, please.
Go ahead.
Adosa, you're expecting a certain level of realism in a series in which they value. Listen, Listen, in a series where they value their friendship more than their positions or ranks. Adosa.
No.
Adosa, Luffy does not value his position as captain more than he values his friends.
But Luffy,
and that's just the end result, bro.
Dude,
That's just what it is.
Saw what Sanji was doing. He knew that
he should. He should. You think he should?
But we are 860 chapters into this manga. He should value his position as captain by now.
More than his friends is what you're saying.
I mean,
not more than his friends, but value it more than he did in chapter 1 or chapter 5.
I think
he does.
I think what Ados is saying is that there could have been a more there should be a little bit more emotional sophistication or complexity from this situation. And it's handled very.
And I don't want to hear that Oda doesn't do that because he does do that.
Yeah. It was handled
in
very,
Water 7.
Shakira, I don't agree. There is realism in One Piece.
Antagonizing Luffy. Sanji wasn't antagonizing Luffy. Usopp
but Oda could have created a much more interesting situation to where they would have had to discuss what just happened. I'm not saying that Sanji can't come back into the crew. He can come back. Obviously, he can come back. That's ridiculous to think that he won't come back. But
who's to say that conversation isn't going to happen? Number one. Number two.
That's what. No, I prefaced. That's what I said. To this point, I can only speak on this point. Up to this point.
I really think that this arc. I think we could all agree. There's a lot of stuff going on into this arc. Adding that, just a chat. What do you want to have a whole chapter sitting down and talking about? Sanji, why did you kick me?
I wouldn't mind that.
Luffy,
no. Luffy understands. That's the thing.
The thing is, wait.
That's better than watching people drink.
Yeah.
Luffy. The thing is,
wait. If Luffy understood completely, he wouldn't have fought him at all. If he completely understood and agreed with what he was doing,
he didn't fight him at all.
He didn't
fight him at all.
I mean, he wouldn't have tried.
He did let him go.
I mean, he wouldn't have. They wouldn't have had the fight that they had. They wouldn't have had that conflict where he was
but that was the first time Luffy had seen. That's the first time Luffy had seen Sanji.
He had to insist on.
He wouldn't have been screaming come back. Do you think Luffy was just pretending to be Sanji, come back to my crew and antagonize him to beat him up? No, I don't think so.
I think he
didn't understand the situation.
I think you should.
We can.
What chapter number was that?
We didn't understand the situation until the end of the fight.
Does anybody know what chapter number that was?
Sanji handled this was because he understood what Sanji was doing.
It was obvious.
Let him handle this on his own.
We're saying during our chapter reviews, like Luffy could kind of has an idea of why this is happening.
In the middle of the fight.
Why do you think when the fight was over and he was running away, Luffy was basically yelling at him and he was saying I know
the fight was Sanji convincing like they were understanding each other through the fight.
I think I know what Edos is saying.
Of course you do.
I get what he's saying.
I'm not saying what I'm saying is in a situation like you see how Zoro, he was able to during the Water 7, like he wasn't just allowing Usopp to come in. Like he was telling Luffy, like you're not the one that's supposed to be humble. He's the one that's supposed to be humble because he was doing something that was quote unquote petty or like being stubborn. If he's saying that attitude Zoro had, like like you're the captain at the end of the day, that's something Luffy should have in him. Like that should be more prevalent in Luffy's character.
Yes, but
okay, but the difference.
Here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about that.
No, I'm not saying. No, wait.
Luffy. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm not saying. No, I do know the situations are different. Even if you look at the Nami, taking the ship and going to Arlong Park, even that situation is different. Because it's kind of like her, like in both Nami and Sanji situations, kind of like, in a sense, protecting.
No.
Like in a sense, protecting the people. Like Sanji trying to
But
protect.
Oda always uses that easy
Nami
out.
was
And here's my
completely
bottom line.
selfish.
Here's my bottom line. There should always, when you have a group in a series, I think an author should always try and take opportunities to make sure that there's an internal conflict within the group or crew or whatever you want to call it, and it always be interesting. It doesn't always have to be resolved, but it always has to be touched upon. And I think that gives room for characters to grow, characters to learn, characters to develop. And when you don't have that, there are no stakes within the crew, let alone the whole series.
I mean, there is one, but it's between Zoro and Sanji, and Zoro's absent from his arc.
And that's not even, you know. Yeah, I just
If
think
Zoro was in this arc, there would have been a bigger bigger repercussions for him.
One Piece has.
Don't you guys remember in the Zoro arc when Zoro was saying like man, forget about Sanji, man. He did this on his own, blah 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 blah. And we got bigger things to focus on. Like so,
I think Oda used
that's a point of contention.
to answer Edo. I think Oda used a lot of. There was a lot of inner quote unquote inner conflict in pre-time skip One Piece. I think like there's gonna be so much going on post time skip that it's gonna be hard to coherently fit all of those conflicts in external and internally within the Straw Hat crew. That's why if you notice there was a lot of quote unquote internal conflict in part one of One Piece.
you can continue to have that
After the time skip, they're already established
like
characters.
this and use chapters like this to do those kind of things.
Like there was internal conflict because they were growing their friendships, they were growing their partnerhoods, like their partnerships. They were like they weren't really established in a sense as a crew.
No, but they'll always have differences. They'll always argue. They're not going to be perfect. There's always going to be conflict. Conflict is what drives story. It's never going to stop.
All right, Seiko, what did you think of the chapter? What was your rating?
I thought it was.
What do you want to see next week?
I want to see the wedding actually start.
Look, this is the wedding starting. I mean, I guess the tea party.
Unpaid of the wedding finally starting.
Yeah. You think pudding's good?
No.
Pudding's good in you? It's gonna change that.
No, King Recon has lost his mind.
Wait, do we finish the? All right, Shakir, are you still there?
What?
What was your chapter rating and EGP and all that stuff? What do you want to see next week?
What I want to see next week is more Boku no Hero. I mean, rating, I say a 6 to a 5. Probably do a 6 out of 10. What I want to see next week is more Boku no Hero and
MVP of the chapter.
There's no next week.
Yeah, that's why I say I want to see more Boku no Hero next week. But MVP, yeah. I don't know. Everybody did the same amount of shit.
That's right. It slept. Yeah, that's right. It slept.
Yeah, everybody else in the chapter might as well have been asleep. That's a Big Mom. Conquers hockey.
Is it gonna be a disappointment if Mother Caramel is just like a random like nun that raised Big Mom and her crew or something when they were kids?
Why'd you
If
think
it's
of
like
like
a
the most
if
like?
it's just a flashback and she died like Corazon style, saving Big Mom, is
Would
that
that
gonna
be
be a
disappointing to
disappointment?
you? Is that what you're trying to say?
It definitely would be. But
I'd rather that be
think
Big
that's the
Mom's
most
original body, personally.
I think that's the most likely thing. It's just gonna be a flashback where it's like, oh
You think that's what's gonna happen?
yeah.
Are you serious?
I,
Nah.
yes, I think that's like 80. I think there's like an 80% chance of that happening.
80% chance.
Big Mom just having a flashback where it's just
Yeah,
like,
you know them old sad flashbacks.
yeah, when she's crying like, oh, Mother
Nah.
Caramel, and then the Navy
I
kills
don't
her.
see that.
Akainu punches her to death, and she's like,
Oh.
and then she's like, believe in the future,
Yo.
become a great
If I don't,
pirate.
if I was if that happens, I'm going to laugh so hard.
it's really likely.
I'm gonna call you in the
It's
morning.
really likely to happen. It's Oda. What was Law's backstory?
Unlock his out of treasure chest.
Yeah, while his mentor died, saving him. What was Nami's backstory? Her mentor died, saving her. What was Robin's backstory? Her mentor died, saving her.
Frankie.
His mentor died, saving him. What's Luffy's backstory? His mentor died, like got hurt and almost died, saving him. It's gonna happen, bro. Like
Oh my god.
it's a go-to One Piece thing. She lost a limb or she died.
Chopper.
Save his mentor died.
Damn, they really did all those times.
Yeah. It's everybody's
Sanji.
Oh boy, his mentor was critically wounded, saving him.
I mean,
Hmm.
this
I mean, he still could die. This arc.
this whole Sanji thing, this whole Sanji and Luffy thing is more reminiscent to like Nami and Zoro during the Arlong Park arc. To be honest,
Because she didn't.
cause like I think he got captured, and then like she came out, and he was like, "Oh, you really hang with these dudes?" And she's like, "Yeah, like stop chasing after me. You surprised, I'm a pirate at the end of the day." And he's like, "Okay," and he like jumps inside the water, suicide dive to test her. And she comes out and saves him, and he recognizes that lying.
Way better. The way it was handled in Arlong, it was way more interesting. Especially since Nami wasn't like as established. She had been there for like 1 or 2 arcs. You didn't really know whether or not she was trustworthy at that point.
Yeah.
Like it's clear Sanji is.
I mean, and even agree or disagree with me.
And Zoro didn't like her at that point. Like he wasn't a fan of Nami, so he wasn't like trusting her like that. So there was actual conflict. Like she could have actually betrayed them, and Zoro could have actually not trusted her. So like it was very unclear at this point. Like you know what the deal is. Like the characters know what the deal is. So like there's no reason for a lot of this to be happening. But
yeah, we gotta wrap this review up.
Yeah, I think we're done. Young, are you still there?
I think
Those three, the 3 towers are on mute right now.
Okay. Oh no. All right. Next week, or 2 weeks from now, the wedding. How high of a rating can this chapter have? If the wedding, if this plan is amazing and Big Mom is amazing, and
how high Big Mom is amazing.
Yeah, the climax has to be really good to save this arc. For it to be a great One Piece arc, I think.
This arc is
7.5, 8.
It's an 8. What did you say?
Wait, so Andre, do you agree that this is the worst?
Yeah, like this arc is like.
Right now, what is your rating of this arc? Right at this moment?
This arc is like a 5 right now.
Edosa, what's your rating of this arc right now?
I have a little bit above Andre because this arc has made me laugh a couple times. I have it at like a 6.5.
You bring him up. Shakir.
Sanji.
Take
like
them.
to make this arc a 10.
Bro, Shakir had to come out. I was a little shook when he said intention matters, bro. I was like, oh, shit. I do say that a lot.
For this arc to be anything above an 8, Oda has to pull some of the craziest
things. The thing is, we're with a Yonko right now, so that's like there's a higher level of expectation for this arc. Yaku's right there.
Don't even start talking about it, Wesley. This is gonna make it work.
This should be insane.
Listen, guys. We'll see you next. We'll see you
All
in
right.
2 weeks. All right, catch us on the flip side.
Rate, comment, and subscribe.
More catchy out.